A semiconductor is a material which has electrical conductivity between that of conductors and insulators, and that can be shown in this image, like on the basis of band gap energy, and their resistivity falls as the temperature rises, and in the case of metals, it is opposite. Their resistivity increases as temperature increases, and their conductivity properties are not that much at room temperature at in pure conditions, so that can be altered by introducing some impurity materials elements, that is called doping. These are some examples of semiconductor, like silicon carbide, gallium arsenide, and germanium, and etc. The semiconductors have some specific properties which make them important, and due to which they are used widely in various fields, like they pass current more easily in one direction than the other direction, showing variable resistance and having sensitivity to light or heat. Since mechanical strength can be, we can get idea of mechanical strength of a material with various factors, including yield strength, hardness, and others. So first, yield strength. It is a point where uh, elastic region it ends and plastic region it starts. Like in this plot, B is the yield point where elasticity has finished and now plasticity is starting, and the yield strength of semiconductors. So, to get yield strength, we have to perform test on semiconductors, and that semiconductors can be deformed plastically without brittle fracture at temperatures higher than 2 by 3 Tm under atmospheric pressure. Tm is the melting temperature of semiconductor. Here is the plot of stress strain behavior of silicon, and here it is that of silicon carbide. In this plot we can see that uh, the stress strain behavior of semiconductors such as silicon gallium arsenide, there is a remarkable drop after yielding, and after that they have a gradual increase in the stress with strain. But in the case of gallium nitride, like semiconductors, there is a different behavior of stress strain. This is the same thing that is written. In the case of gallium nitride, there is a elastic. At in the beginning, there is a elastic increase in the stress. After that, they show smooth yield behavior, and after that, there is no stress drop like silicon. Instead, there is a subsequent gradual increase, and it is the um, yield stress value of gallium nitride that is higher than that of silicon, germanium, and germanium arsenide. And the overall stress strain characteristics of all the semiconductors depend on the temperature and strain that on which we are performing test. This is the plot of yield stress of different semiconductors against reciprocal of temperature. And now comes to hardness. Hardness is the um, ability of a material to resist the permanent deformation when we are applying a load on it, and this becomes important while studying mechanical strength of different materials, because and it is an elementary indication that can characterize elastic and plastic properties of a solid. And this is the table of that summarizes hardness values of different semiconductors.
So is Vivek going to present, or you are going to present the whole presentation?
No, sir, he will be coming later.
So you have only 3 minutes left.
So this is the image of Vickers hardness, and this is the formula by which we can get Vickers hardness. And this is the plot of hardness of different semiconductors with against reciprocal of temperature. If we observe the this plot, we can find that the hardness of silicon carbide and other semiconductors exhibits a gradual decrease from room temperature to around 600 degrees Celsius, and subsequently there is a steep decrease. And following these observations, dislocation, this is dislocation velocity. Actually, mechanical properties of a crystal such as yield behavior are also controlled by dislocation velocity. And so we also included it like in gallium arsenide and indium phosphide. In dislocation velocity is more than that in silicon, germanium, and gallium phosphide. This is the plot of dislocation velocity against reciprocal of temperature of different semiconductors. And this is the equation by which we can get dislocation velocity. And these are some constants which are experimentally observed, determined. And this is the table showing different showing dislocation velocities for different semiconductors and of different dislocations. Yeah, now Vivek, over to Vivek.
Good afternoon, sir. We are talking about the importance of the semiconductor. Semiconductor are very important for our daily life, and they are used for the most of the electronic device. Semiconductor enable advance in communication, computing, healthcare, military, and other more application. Due to the role in fabrication of electronic devices, semiconductors are important part of our life. Imagination of life without semiconductor is equivalent to imagine life without electronic device. That's
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Question from the audience.
Yes, sir. Like Rishabh showed in the, I think, first or second slide, there is a point that deformation plastically at temperature higher than 2 by third of melting temperature. What does it mean, and why does it should be 2 by third of melting temperature?
I think this is observed with experiments, in experiments.
Yeah, but is there a reason behind it? That is what he's asking. Why 2 by 3? Okay, any other question from the audience? Okay, Dr. Prince.
I'm in a meeting. Just a minute. Dr. Abhishek?
Uh-huh.
Just a minute.
Okay, so
So I think enough information, even more than enough information, we have just given on the mechanical behavior of semiconductor material. But I am a bit confused, like hardness and so. Can you differentiate between hardness and strength of any material? Hardness and strength. So can you go to the slide where you have just shown the definition for hardness? You have written the
Yes,
definition: resistance to permanent deformation. So
yes,
it is the plastic property, I think. If permanent deformation is there, then definitely you can say that that is the plasticness or plasticity or plastic property.
yes,
So
sir.
how you can just differentiate this hardness with the permanent deformation or like strength? If I just say strength, so is there any
Yes,
any any difference between strength and hardness?
Sir, if a material has a good ability or good resistance to plastic deformation or permanent deformation, then it will be said that it has good
More harder
strength.
or more strengther?
Both of them, sir.
Okay, so
Oh,
have you heard about two properties like have you heard about resilience? What do you mean the resilience?
no, sir.
Okay, and you have shown like a weaker hardness.
Yes,
So
sir.
just go to that slide. Okay, so is there any specific like 136-degree angle? So is this specific or you can just change this angle?
No, sir. I searched on Google and I got this image, but the angle of indentor could
I
be
think
changed.
I think if you are in third year, then definitely you have just gone through some courses. Okay, so there I think you are just
Yes.
you got okay. I think it is just going to come in next semester, if I'm not wrong. Abhishek.
No. This is in this semester, but these days the students go to Google only. They don't go to class.
Oh, yeah. So you should, yeah, definitely. Then you should have just gone through this one. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So is there any other technique through which you can just measure the hardness of a material?
Yes, sir. Like indenters which have spherical indentation, and
No. Name the technique name.
I think it is Bernoulli
Bernoulli.
something. No, sir.
Huh?
Bernoulli.
Not like that.
Vivek.
Burn vehicle test, sir.
Yeah. Which one?
Burn vehicle. Burn vehicle hardness test.
Now this is new. I haven't heard of this.
Which one? Which one? Vivek, just come again. Come again.
व्हीकल लाइक दिस है सर, पूरा नाम ध्यान में नहीं है.
And others. Other test. Other techniques.
No, sir, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. You can just mute yourself.
Sir, one is Rockwell hardness.
Yeah, I think sufficient time you got to Google. Okay.
Yeah, these days everything is happening on Google. Okay, Vivek, first of all, you were absent, so I'm marking you less. Even if I would have marked you for 10, you will not get much points. So presentation is not really good. You did not understand the topic. It is not that you talk about strength of semiconductors and then you talk about importance of semiconductor. You have to talk about importance of strength of semiconductor.
Yeah,
Why are we bothered?
in connection to that, I also want to say something. Like
Yeah,
he has
please.
presented one slide only, and importance of semiconductor that is not required here. Why that is required? Huh? So you people have just deviated from the topic totally. Even I think Rishabh has just given some, some glimpse of like, I just, I think I got some information regarding strength. But what Vivek has done, I don't know. Means he had just presented one slide and he is saying like, what is the importance of semiconductor in the life of a human being? Okay. Yeah, Dr. Abhishek, sorry, you just continue.
Yeah. So, Rishabh, obviously, you have made more effort in comparison to Vivek, and you have done a lot of research, but you just put the plot and don't talk about it. You just say that these are the yield strength of semiconductors, these are the hardness of semiconductors, but what should we do from what should we see in the plot that you have not discussed? And you showed the stress strain behavior where you have shown the elastic region, and that is wrong. That is not the elastic region. And after doing a course on mechanical behavior, if you do this kind of thing, then this is not good. Anyways, so that is all. And let us go to the second presentation, who is Sachit. Second and last.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible. Go on.
Am I visible, sir?
Your presentation is visible. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sir, I'm starting my presentation on isotropic and kinematic hardening. So basically, sir, wait a second. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Go on.
Sir, first of all, I'd like to define what is how we will define a plasticity model. First of all, for every plasticity model, we should have a threshold for plasticity, like when the till when is the material elastic, and then after that a yield point or threshold point comes, and then it starts to deform. So like for one dimensional like uniaxial when we do the apply stress, the threshold of plasticity is a point which is called a yield point, but for 3D problem it becomes a surface, so we call it yield surface. Second thing we need to do is defines material behavior after yield point. Depending on the accuracy requirement, it can be simplified to another linear line with different tangent or piecewise straight lines or high order nonlinear function. The thing which I am talking about is that the graph after the yield point is whether a straight line graph or a nonlinear function or any other function than that. We can depend how much accuracy we required. According to that, we can simplify it to that. So basically, when we draw the stress strain curve for any normal brittle metal or any other material, um, if it is perfect plasticity, then it will be only a tangent line parallel to the x-axis. And in case of hardening, it will be a little bit of it will have non-zero slope. So like in the first case, material strength continue to grow. In here, in the hardening case, the strengths continue to grow, but with smaller slope. The hardening part of the plasticity can be approximated by linear, piecewise linear, or high order functions. In case of perfect plasticity, the material strength stops to grow once yield surface is reached. So, for 1D plasticity, yield surface is a point, while in 3D, the threshold for plasticity is a 3D surface. Once the material's status reaches the surface, the material is in plasticity. There are various definitions of yield surfaces. Each of them has its own feature and application. First of all, the Tresca yield surface, which uses maximum shear stress to be the threshold of plasticity. And the second, the von Mises yield criteria, which we use mostly, which calculates von Mises stress and uses it to decide if the material reaches plasticity or not. So first of all, I like to introduce the concept of von Mises yield surface. In von Mises yield surface, we can say we calculate the equivalent stress. In case of 3D materials, we find it difficult to calculate the stress in three axial, like triaxial directions. So we calculate the equivalent stress. Now for metal material, one widely used yield criteria is the von Mises. And by von Mises criteria, I mean yielding begins when the distortion of the material reaches a critical value. For this reason, the von Mises criterion is also known as the maximum distortion strain energy criterion. So, in this case, we can see that how von Mises yield stress is expressed, and in terms of principal coordinates, the three principal stress, in terms of, we can define it in the case of three principal stress: sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, and we can plot a graph, and we find it that it comes a cylindrical graph. So I like to talk about what is a yield criterion. A yield criterion is used to mathematically identify when yielding happens in a material. There are many different yield criteria. The most common two yield criteria, which I talked in the previous slide, is von Mises yield criterion and Tresca yield criterion. So we can see that the von Mises yield criterion yields a cylindrical surface, but in case of a Tresca yield surface, we get a prismatic with hexagonal face on the top and the bottom. So uh, before I move further, I'll talk about like what are the basics we should know on having on discussing about plasticity modeling. So we know that in case of as we can see in the first column, uniaxial case, we had sigma 1 equal to sigma y, but in case of multi-axial stress experiments, we use Tresca or von Mises. So there is a basic rule on that, that on the Tresca or on the von Mises, if we use on the yield surface we have that plastic region, and inside the yield surface we have the elastic region, and outside of the yield surface is not defined. When the outside comes, it actually changes its radius. So I'll talk about the hardening rule. Uh, we know that in the third column, which is given, gives the description of evolution of yield surface and other internal variables with plastic strain. F sigma equal to K into epsilon plastic, which now I'll come into that. We have basically two types of hardening models: isotropic hardening models and kinematic hardening models. Before that, I like to introduce the concept of flow plasticity. Flow plasticity is used to qualify the plastic behavior of material. Flow plasticity theories are characterized to determine the amount of plastic deformation by the assumption of a flow rule. In flow plasticity theory, it is assumed that the total strain in a structure can be dissolved iteratively into an elastic plate and a plastic plate. The elastic part of the strain state can be procured from a linear elastic or hyperelastic equation. The plastic part of the strain state requires a flow rule and a hardening model in order to get calculated. So basically, the strain has two parts, elastic and a plastic. So in order to determine the plastic, in this paragraph, what I mean is, in order to get the plastic part of the strain state, we require to know how the material deforms, and we have to determine a hardening model in order to calculate the plastic, in order to calculate the hardness constant. So
Sachit,
material,
can you switch on your video also?
sir.
Yeah, go on.
Material hardening laws. So basically, uh, the hardening law, also known as the hardening rules, describes how the yield surface changes under plastic deformation. The hardening rule governs the change in material strength as the plastic material deformation. The change in material strength can also be thought as a change in the geometry or the position of yielding surface. The developed yield surface is often called as the loading surface. So as we know, in 1D illustration, we saw that the hardening part can be approximated by a single linear function, which is in case is known as bilinear hardening, or piecewise linear function or high order function. On the right side of the slide, we can see that there are two types of hardening models: isotropic hardening models and a kinematic hardening model. And we can see that in isotropic hardening models, the yield surface is actually symmetrical. After after loading and unloading, as we know that when we load a particular material, then and after it plastically deforms, and then when we unload it, and then we again load it in the opposite direction. First in the case of, let's say, first in the case of a tensile direction, and next in the case of a compressive direction, then isotropic hardening will have concentric elliptical or circular surfaces, and they will expand uniformly, like there will be equal spaces between them. But in case of kinematic hardening, we can see that the center of the circle shifts. There is not they are not concentric at all. So before going into um, now, let's come to the topic of isotropic hardening. The isotropic hardening is the simplest way to model a strain hardening, and it said the yield surface increase in size but remain the same shape as a result of the plastic straining, which means the yield surface remains uniform without any distortion or translation but expands with increasing stress. The yield surface expands uniformly in all direction with plastic flow. The value of isotropic hardening is directly related to the amount of strain. Isotopic hardening is related to the accumulated dislocation structure and expands the yield surface of a material under plastic deformation. For isotropic hardening, the yield surface is symmetric about the stress axis, which means that the yield strength in tension and compression are the same. In other terms, isotropic hardening does not account for the Boschinger effect. Here, by Boschinger effect, what I mean is, like when we load, unload, and then load in the opposite direction, the yield point normally in real materials, the yield point is different. Like what I mean to say is that the yield point reached in the tensile stress region would not be equal to the stress reached in the compressive region. But But in isotropic hardening, we consider that they are
Okay,
equal.
you have to conclude now. Your time is up.
Yes, sir.
Just go
So
to the
the
last slide and conclude.
yes, sir, it already finished. So the yield surface grows in size in the form of so yeah, Boschlinger effect, as I already told,
Yeah,
is
that you have discussed. Yeah.
yes. Kinematic hardening, the yield surface remains the same shape and size, but merely translates in the stress space. The material begins yielding at the point sigma y, and it is loaded into the plastic region. Loading and unloading to zero stress will not can cause any additional translation of the
Okay,
yield surface.
that is okay. Then
Yes,
where is the last slide? Okay,
yes, sir. It's okay.
good. Question from the audience? I don't think anyone is there. These people are gone. So I'll deduct marks from all of you who are not asking questions. Okay. Dr. Prince?
Yes. So, Sachet, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So, I think you have started very late to prepare this. So, you people are technologically, I think, more strong. So, you can click a image. So, there is one software which just changed to Word format. Okay. And then from there, you can just paste here. Otherwise, I think you have just clicked the picture and just pasted it. And you forgot to just, remove the NSYS sign.
Yes,
Go to the
yes.
first and second or third slide, there is NSYS.
Sir,
So
that
you
is
have collected
not
information. Definitely, it took time. Definitely, it has taken time. I
sir,
think
I have
definitely.
put the concept, which is the main.
Yes, yes, that is good.
I
So I am
tried,
just coming. I am coming to that. Just
sir,
wait a little bit. Wait a
sir,
little
I
bit.
have not understood, but I have tried my
अरे
best.
रुक जाओ भाई
Yeah,
बोलने दो.
whatever you want to say, that is conveyed. I think
Yes,
that just conveyed to me. But it is good. Means enough information you have collected. Enough information you have collected, and that is good also. ओके
yes.
बट आई थिंक ठीक है पिक्चर क्लिक किया सब कुछ किया तो उसको थोड़ा सा उसको लिख दिए होते तो काफी अच्छा रहता एंड यू आर जस्ट सिंपली just reading the slide because you have just put I think too much of information but that is good. Okay, so come to question. So what is the use of this one like kinematic hardening? So if one just ask you kinematic hardening and the other one, so which one will you just prefer in which situation? Can you just give some clue on this?
Um, Sir, where we will like to avoid the Boschlinger effect, there we can use isotropic, and where we cannot avoid, we can use kinematic. Uh,
Kinematic.
yes.
Okay, so just tell me the exact, what do you mean by the Bossinger effect and why
Sir,
it just why it is there? Yeah.
Sir, Boschlinger effect, sir, is basically it's a like says that कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. It is same,
Okay.
sir, like when we load and then unload, and then we again load in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
The the yield point in is not the same in both the direction. Like when in case of tensile stress, if it was more, then here it will be less. If it is less here, then it will be more. So like यहाँ अगर ज्यादा hardening हो रहा है तो उधर थोड़ा softening हो रहा है, और अगर इधर थोड़ा softening हो रहा है तो उधर पे ज्यादा hardening हो रहा है.
Okay, not satisfied, but little bit closer to that. Okay. Okay, that's all from my side, Dr. Abhishek.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prince. So Sachit, you decided not to give presentation. Then you gave presentation. So if you are prepared, then you should give presentation. And the comments which we give, see, we are not a competitor of you. Okay. So when we give any comment, our intention is to improve whatever you have done. Okay. It is not demeaning, it is not disheartening. When we say something, it is always for your improvement. And there is always improvement possible, right? So first thing is that uh, I had to call you and I had to send message to you so that you attend the session. You are not attending the session, and that is not good. And okay, so now I'll come to the question. So whatever comments Dr. Prince has given is correct. I have not given you much marks in the presentation skill part because it doesn't look good when you're presenting something and there is answers written on that. and
Yes, sir.
then you have written too much text and you are just reading it. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so it looks like the audience is not educated enough to read. If something is written on the slide, I can read it. Okay, so there I have not given you much marks, but it looks like you have understood a few things. And let me check that. So you said that isotropic hardening can be elliptical and can be circular. So in which case do you think it will be elliptical?
Sir, sir, as we know that circle is a like a type of ellipse. So like I should have specified that in case of generally it is elliptical, but in some cases it can be circular.
But that is wrong. In which case it will be elliptical? Give me an example.
Um, I don't know it. I cannot.
So it will never be elliptical. It will always be circular because it is isotropic. If it is
Okay.
anisotropic, then it will be elliptical. The circle which is
Yes, sir.
forming is not because of isotropic hardening, because there is circle in kinematic hardening also. It is forming because of von Mises criteria. So
Okay,
von
sir.
Mises forms an equation of circle, and that becomes
Okay,
an
sir.
ellipse when you have an isotropic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you go to your slide, then okay, so Boschingen effect कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है is not correct. Can you tell me why the yield strength is lower in the opposite direction?
Um, so maybe because some of the deformations have already occurred, and
But that's
because
so deformation. You're talking about deformation before yielding or after yielding?
uh, definitely, sir. When I'm talking about Boschnger effect, I'm talking that first I've already loaded in the tensile direction, and
Hmm.
then after
So it's a
the
permanent deformation.
sir.
It's a permanent deformation.
Yes, sir. It already had a permanent something some plastic deformation it had after unloading.
Hmm.
Now when I go again, its yield stress is now if I do again in the tensile direction, if I did
Hmm.
in the tensile direction, and if I go again in the tensile direction, I'll see that the yield point has increased.
Yes.
First it was,
Why it will increase?
sir, because now the grains have dislocated, or like or what
Grains are dislocated.
not grains. Sir, I cannot. Uh, I know the answer, but I'm not able to express it.
Okay,
So,
and why it will be lower in the reverse direction?
um, sir, because now it has already deformed already in a particular direction. Now, when we
Hmm.
compress it, it
Hmm.
will not ideally go to the point where it should go. Like,
Why? जो
sir,
एरिया डिफॉर्म हो गया वो तो हो गया.
yes, sir.
It is like you are saying that if something is plastically deformed, it will be easier to deform it further. But that is not happening in tension direction. So there is something which is related to the opposite direction,
Hmm.
right? So what is that special thing which is happening in the opposite direction, which is causing the yield strength to be lower?
Sir, I read about sir, the material stress is increasing. Like now,
So that if material strength is increasing, that should cause the yield strength to increase, not decrease.
no, in tensile direction, but
Also in
in the
compression,
yes, sir.
if
Resistance,
material resistance is increasing,
yes, sir.
then the yield strength should increase, no?
Yes, sir. In the tensile direction, material strength increased, but now
Hmm.
it will become softer. Like
Why?
in uh, um,
चलो इसका जवाब तुम दो मुझे ढूंढ के.
okay, sir.
Hmm? So you give me the answer for this before the end semester examination.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it was, I think, in all of the presentation, I liked your presentation the most. but this should not put you at any higher elevation. The problem is that a little bit of attentiveness would
Yes, sir.
make it better.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So usually what happens is like things which are good, they also have to be disciplined. Otherwise, it becomes chaotic. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I
Okay.
understand.
Fine. Dr. Prince, you have any concluding remarks, or should we end this session?
Yes, I think people should just put more effort, and they become like, they are thinking that we are their enemies. They are treating us. We want to just improve yourself only, okay? And like this presentation, I think Sachit has collected very relevant data. But if he could just do a little bit hard work, then definitely he could, he would be able to remove too much of text, okay, whatever he has just written, and that is the presentation style. I think he should say all these things apart from just writing on the slides only. And others are also you people should just put a little bit of effort, okay? Otherwise, definitely you will be in problem in future. Even you will start just facing those problems from this semester only from my side, at least. I don't know for others, but from my side, you are just going to face those problems from my side. Okay. All the best for your further exams and other things. Okay, that's all, Dr. Abhishek, from my side.
Okay, so the audience is like silent or they're not there. I'm not going to check them, but this is going to affect you later on.
Sir,
So, yeah.
sir, I had a specific doubt regarding some course. So should I ask after the recording?
Specific doubt related to course. Okay, Dr.
Yes, sir,
Prince, if
creep.
you want, you can
Sir,
leave.
related to
Others
creep,
can
sir.
leave, you can ask. What is your doubt?
Sir,